Welcome to El Paso. While there are many romantic reasons to live in El Paso, the reality of living here is different, and that is why if you have a choice you should paso on El Paso. El Paso of legend and lore is a quaint western town that sits on the border of the United States and Mexico, filled with cowboys and mariachi bands. While true there are a lot of cowboys here, and one can hear the sounds of mariachi bands in many local bars, El Paso is far from quaint and bears little resemblance to a western town. El Paso sits at the border of Juarez, Mexico. From many parts of the city you can see Mexico and the wall that keeps things separate. It is a hilly town of about 700,000 people that is divided in half by the Franklin Mountains. Throughout the city you can see the influence of the Mexican people from the language, country license plates, erratic drivers, poor roads, regional restaurants, and so many more characteristics that make you think you are actually in Mexico. El Paso, while sunny, has a dark side that we are going to explore. Living here there always seems to be some nefarious spirit that is haunting the city. Some call it Chupacabra, others say it is the devil himself. This spirit is reflected in the daily atmosphere of the city and often creates feelings of anxiety and dread. Be aware of this always lurking presence if you come to live in El Paso. You can feel the presence of this haunting spirit in the ever-present howling winds. It is as though the spirit is speaking to you and trying to get you out of the city by sheer force. Maybe it would be wise to listen. The wind is the favorite element of the annoying spirit. Both get into your head and create allergies unique to El Paso and are relentless. It is not hay fever, it is hell fever. Wind, spirit, and sun all work together to rapidly bring aging. Your skin will dry out to the point where there is no lotion thick enough to keep the moisture in. The spirit will make sure that one day you become the sand of the El Paso desert. One of the most nefarious acts of the spirit is when it comes to pets. Pets are not welcome in El Paso stores, patio restaurants, and other day-to-day activities. Well, maybe this is an exaggeration. Pit bulls seem to be welcomed everywhere, especially in dog-fighting arenas. The spirit of El Paso is found in everyday life. You can find its annoying presence in shopping, eating, working out, driving, and so much more. Let's take a look. El Paso is loud. Music, cars, people are just loud. Car stereos at full blast, revving car engines, backfiring mufflers, and just people plain talking loudly. Don't expect to live in peace and quiet. El Paso is loud. Very loud. It can easily be said that El Paso is one strip mall after another for miles upon miles. They are not very visually pleasing and all look like each other. Beige stuccoed square buildings with massive parking lots that are always full with clueless drivers. These malls offer a variety of businesses such as doctors' offices, gyms, mercados, restaurants, and Botox clinics. Yep, they are full service. You can go out to lunch after a workout and finish with Botox, full belly, full muscle, and full forehead. In almost every El Paso strip mall you will find a gym. Literally in one square block you can find 5 gyms. The most unique part of these gyms is they seem to be made for couples. You will rarely see someone solo. Gyms seem to be the go-to for date night in El Paso. The funny thing about so many gyms is most citizens of El Paso look like they spend more time eating than they do working out. Just check out Walmart. There are no shortage of places to eat in El Paso. However, fine dining is not a term associated with eating out in El Paso. In every strip mall there is at least one Mexican restaurant, a bar serving food, and a chain restaurant. These places are far from affordable. At lunchtime these places are packed as workers gather to spend 3 times their hourly wage on a meal. Nothing is as fun as having a good time that breaks the bank. Another thing El Paso has a lot of is schools. You will find public, charter and for-profit schools right alongside the strip malls and gyms. All of the schools just don't seem to help, given Texas ranks 43rd out of 50 for education in the United States. That is probably because they only invest about $7,000 per student, making them close to the bottom in the US. I guess the state legislatures were educated in Texas schools. Some people are just not teachable.
Si bien hay letreros de ayuda deseada en casi todas las ventanas comerciales, en realidad encontrar un trabajo es mucho más difícil. Y si no eres bilingüe, no pienses en ser contratado ni siquiera para el trabajo más básico. Si no puedes hablar español con fluidez e inglés básico, no estás de suerte.
While there are help wanted signs in almost every business window, actually finding a job is much harder. And if you are not bilingual, don't think about getting hired even for the most basic job. If you cannot speak fluent Spanish and basic English, you are out of luck. This is something you are not going to believe. Somehow the spirit of El Paso has been able to ensure that no Amazon delivery trucks come into the city. That's right, no Amazon trucks. Instead, all Amazon deliveries are done via the US Post Office or UPS. That is hell. It guarantees your deliveries will always take longer to arrive. Pure hell. The voice of the spirit is heard in the cars of El Paso. As drivers drive along the potholed, rough roads, ignoring stop signs, you can hear the blaring voice of spirit in the revving of engines and the backfiring of oversized mufflers. These mufflers seem to be an overcompensation in an attempt to prove manhood. The roads of El Paso sound more like the Indy 500 than they do a tranquil desert community. The spirit of El Paso has helpers in the form of cars, creating traffic at all times of the day. This traffic is worse than any major city and is more dangerous by the oblivious drivers texting on their phones and the driving habits from across the border. You will dodge orange traffic cones, construction convoys, as well as the occasional drunk pedestrian as you navigate to drop the kids off at school, visit the nearby strip mall for lunch, or hit the gym for a quick date. Here is where things get dangerous. Most likely the El Paso spirit is going to guide you into the number one way the citizens get to know each other: a car crash. On any given day you will see a wreck or be involved in one. Make sure you have insurance. No worries. This car is drivable in El Paso, and many cars on the roads look just like this. Be happy at least you have a ride out of town. Don't look in the rearview mirror as you leave. A totaled, barely drivable car will be the perfect ride for the best road trip you have ever taken. Time to ride into the sunset. So there you go, the spirit of El Paso has given you 13 reasons to paso on El Paso. Wind, allergies, dry skin, unwelcoming for dogs, loud noise, endless strip malls, couples gyms, poor schools, costly restaurants, low job prospects, revving cars, annoying traffic, and finally a life-threatening crash to send you on your way. Future videos will look deeper into reasons to Paso on El Paso, such as the nightmare of shopping, poor medical services, dangerous roads, choking air pollution, old apartments with unheated swimming pools, and a bunch of other reasons to Paso on El Paso. Happy trails, and don't forget to subscribe.